Hello fellow modelers and styling fanatics, welcome back to my channel. I hope that everyone is doing fine and enjoys the hobby. Concrete Bunker is back with another one of its notorious updates. Split personalities and parallel universes George will be your host as usual. Today's menu consists from a mail call / shoutout to a fellow modeler and YouTuber, and our first episode on the 7-tone man track from Revell, in 1 to 35th scale and kit number 03043. The time has come, guys. Stay put and crack the mandatory cold one, because we are about to begin. A couple of days ago, John Sarok, sorry John if I'm killing your name, I think that's the name it is pronounced, reached out to me because he had a duplicate kit and wanted to gift one to me. So this is the kit he sent me. A Panzerkampfwagen 4 Ausfades early / mid, you choose, in 1 to 35th scale of course, from Border Models. Thank you very much, John. It is a great kit. I just cracked open the box to see the contents and I am amazed. This one is full of plastic parts, photo etch pieces and etc. It will be will have its own build series, of course, and its unboxing later, maybe a diorama or something. Anyway guys, yes, as I said, thanks again John, I really appreciate it, my friends. For anyone who is not familiar with John, I will leave a link to his channel in my description section below. Please go and check him out. He lives the Stug life. Whoever is familiar with Stugs knows what I mean. He's a great builder and he builds mostly military stuff. So please guys, go and check him out once again. Leave a like, subscribe, share his video if you deserve that, if you believe that they are deserved to be shared. You know the drill. Thanks again, John. About our build series now, Past George has managed to assemble some of the track chassis. So far, so good guys. Let's see what he has done. Hey guys, welcome to the first part of the build series from the Revell Man 7-tone. I am supposed to say something awesome right now, but I lost my train of thought, so I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. Over in front of you, you see the 4 parts needed for the 2 first steps of the instruction. This is, as I said, the middle part of the middle diff. If I am not mistaken, it looks like the engine, but it's too small to be the engine anyway. And this is some kind of oil sump. So I'm gonna assemble these 2 in front of you, and we're gonna be back for step number 3 after I have cleaned all the parts. So let's start with this thing that looks like the engine. As you can see, parts are keyed and there is a knob, as I said in my previous series, and that's the way they go together. I have lined it up. Let me apply my glue. Of course, and I'm gonna do something off frame. It's like a tradition. Anyway, through the course of this series, I will have many parts that are unknown to me. If you guys know the answer and what they are, help me not to look like a stupid guy, and tell me what it is in the comments. I just need to know what exactly I'm assembling. I don't know why, but I need to know. This is going to hold it together, and of course I have left my fingerprints over there. I'm gonna sand it. This is what you're supposed to be looking at the end of part 1, and let's move for part 2 of the instructions. The oil sump. There are holes in specific locations, and there are knobs in specific locations as well. You're supposed to line them up. Like this, and this part is also ready. Now next up we have the first sub-assembly for the chassis. This is part number 3, and I'm going to attach this one. Let me take the parts of the sprues, clean them, and I'll be back for the assembly. Parts are cleaned and we are back for the assembly of the chassis. I have cleaned parts for step number 3 and 4 because from what I can understand, it is not possible to line up the chassis correctly, so we're gonna need to do it all in one go, both steps. And I would like to get your attention because everything needs to be in the correct position and lined up correctly in this step, because probably you're gonna have some issues if you not do it right. So now let's start with the parts that we have in front of us. We have 5 metal rods. That's what these parts are supposed to be, and the 6th metal rod is completely different, as you can see. This one is the only rod that goes over here in the front if you position the chassis like this direction. So we have this one over here, the rest of them line up with the rest of the holes. One over here, here, 2 here, and like this. Apart that, we're gonna need to have to attach the other leg, and together we need to sandwich this, which is probably the engine, and this one, which is the back of the chassis. So I don't have a clue how I'm gonna do it in front of the camera, but let's give it a start. I'm going to apply glue to everything and line it up before it sets. That's my plan. I hope that this would be successful. I hope. No. Now the engine, you need to use these C hooks, and you need to attach it like that over here. It has a corresponding piece, it should have a corresponding piece anyway, like this, as I said. And now I will have to line everything correctly and attach this part as well. I'm gonna try to film it. If it's not possible, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna cut it on the editing sequence of the video. And of course, I will need to take the part closer to my eyes. Okay, I lined it up off camera because I need to get closer. This is what you are supposed to be looking at if you finish step number 4. As I said, you have to line up correctly all the bars. Make sure that the engine is correctly orientated, and this part as well. These two holes need to look at the bottom of the vehicle. And as I said, that's what you're supposed to be looking at. I'm gonna leave it to dry, and hopefully I've got it right. Onwards for part number 5, my friends. I'm gonna clean the parts. You know how the drill goes. Back for step number 5, and from my understanding, these must be air tanks. And not air tanks, you know, the rubber parts. We call them bubbles over here in Greece. That if they are filled with air, the truck lifts from the ground, lowers, you know. So you have to assemble 2 sets of those. I'm gonna assemble one in front of the camera, the second one, of course, off camera, because I don't want to bore you guys. And here is how they go. Keep in mind that these two must look each other, you know, the holes must be near, and this must be like this. Like a glove. And here's what you're supposed to be looking at. Now I need to also assemble the other one. I'm gonna leave them aside. Move onwards to steps 6 and 7, which are the first 2 rear diffs, and then they are going on top of the rear diffs. So I'm gonna be back. Okay, we have all the parts for the rearest diff assembly over here. And before I start, I wanna get your attention about the springs. Keep in mind that these 2 springs, although they look identical, they are totally different. This one is labeled as 4A and this one as simple as 4. So keep that in mind. Don't mix them up, because they are labeled probably for a good reason. So I'm gonna move them aside for the time being, and I'm gonna start the assembly. I'm gonna work on the steps 6 and 7 of the instructions. These are parts. Are parts for number 6 of the instruction. Let me see where I have my glue. So first up, I'm going to seal the huge gap where the diff oil is. We don't want to have any leaks. It's not a good thing. It's messy. We all know that. And now we have to attach the braces. like this. Now this concludes step number 6 of the instruction. On step number 7 we attach the springs and the bubble tanks. So 4A is over here, like this. Oh, come on. And simple 4 is over here, like this. Oh, come on. No, this side. Now we've got to attach the air tanks. They go on top of the diff and oh, come on, in this direction. You have to line up the holes with these knobs. And let's see if I can do that and get it all in frame. I know that I am shaky, guys, but it is early in the morning. I just had my coffee. And this is the the last diff assembly, the differential that it is located at the end of the track. This is how it is supposed to be looking. Now let's work onto the middle one. Middle diff assembly this time, guys, and the only difference is located in these two parts. The first diff had only a lead. This one has a lead that is connected with an axle. So I'm gonna do the same process, but with the only difference that I'm going to add an extra piece. Let's make a gasket over here. This one is the first piece, and the other one is the second, is oriented something like this. It is keyed over here inside this circle. You probably won't be able to see it, but you have to take my word on it. Like this. Air bubbles are located once again, are positioned like so. And once again I'm gonna use my fingers to get them in. Oh, come on. and for a spring and normal for spring. And here is what you are supposed to be looking. Let me show you the difference also with the other diff. See? Come on. Here, that's the difference. And up to this point we finished step number 9 of the instructions, and we are going for step number 10, which is attachment of those two diffs and some other parts, mainly axles, in the chassis. Let me take the axles off and I'm gonna be back. And we are back for step number 10, guys. Okay, to be honest with you, I skipped a step off camera while I was taking parts off and I was cleaning. Them. I thought that now it is the time and it's gonna be easier for me to paint the chassis rail, the chassis rails and some of the parts. Just a base coat, nothing serious, because it will be easier for me while they are in separate pieces. So as I said, this is just a base coat. I didn't do anything. I chose colors that take weathering nicely, and I deviate a bit from the instructions. So parts like the oil cut, the oil can, I cannot remember the name, but I'm gonna remember it while I will edit the video. And the two diffs, the engine and the axles, are painted with neutral grey from model color 7992. Chassis is painted with black 7950, and the air tanks, the air bubbles over here, are painted with the dark rubber 306. As I said, now it is the time to make all this one piece. I'm gonna show you how they go together just by dry fitting them, and then I'm gonna pause the video, apply the glue and keep going. So first of all, you have to keep your chassis with the engine directed this looking that way. You grab the last diff assembly, that the diff that goes onto the rear all the way over here. You attach it here like this. Then you attach the middle one like this. Before you have the glue, you have also to attach the axle, which goes like this. Then you go for the oil thing, the oil tank, or the oil sump. I remembered it. And finally you attach the last axle over here, if I can get it properly, and you're looking for something like this. Now that's step number 10. I'm gonna glue everything in place, and I'm gonna be back for step 11, which is the attachment of the shock absorbers over here at the rear. Let me clean the parts and I'm gonna be back. So back again for steps 11, 12 and 13. All these parts you see are for those 3 steps, all these parts, plus this one, you don't see, it was off frame. Anyway, all these parts you see in front of you are for those 3 steps. We have the shock absorbers, the sway bars or anti-rolled bars, I don't know, I'm not sure. I can tell them in Greek, but I'm not sure for their name in English. And we have the towing hook, or the thing that another trailer is connected upon our truck. So I'm gonna quit rambling and get straight to the point. Step number 11 states that you need to position the shock absorbers in place, and when I say in place I mean in the 2 rear diffs. Keep in mind that the flat end goes on top over here, and there is a knob over here. You probably won't be able to see now. Now you see it better from this side where I have my finger, that it is supposed to go to a hole that it is located in the inner part of the diff over here. So because the parts are painted right now, I'm gonna attach these parts with super glue, CA glue. I'm gonna put it on a random jar of frame over here, and I'm gonna start attaching those pieces as I said. So first of all I'm gonna start with the shock absorbers. These are parts that I'm going to paint later. I will be able to do that, so I don't stress at all. Let's start with this one. Okay, seems to be in place. Move on to the next one. If you hear random noises, guys, I'm really sorry. My cats decided to fight right now. You know, they are cats, they do random things in random hours of the day. Of course there is one that fights me back with all its strength and dexterity. That's the look. Nope. Now I've got it correct. So with that, step number 11 is done. We proceed to step number 12, which is the sway bars, as I said. Let me give a closer look to the instructions. Okay, if you look the chassis like this, in this direction I mean, you need to position the sway bars like that. So this one goes on the outer side of this one, and between those two here, like this. The other one, of course, should go the exact opposite way, Yes, indeed. Like this. So this is how it is supposed to be look. This is the end of step 12. And finally on step 13 you attach the hook like this. Nope, like this, looking at this direction, on top of it in a hole that over here at the back. This one I'm going to do it straight away. And we are finished. Now I have another diff to make in step 14 and 15, but I think that I have enough footage for our first update, and I'm gonna stop recording right now. So this should probably be part 1 of the 7-ton man rig. That's what we have accomplished. Anyway, Past George is signing out at the moment. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye. And with all that said and done, we have made it to the end of this episode. On our next episode, we will continue with the chassis assembly of the truck. I hope you guys found this video helpful and interesting, and of course stick along for the next one. Before I go, I wanna thank each and every one of you guys that watched this video. A special thank you to my old and new subscribers. You guys are the best and you are the reason I keep doing this series. For the newcomers out there, welcome guys. I hope that you like what I do. If so, you all know what to do. Leave a like, comment with your thoughts and opinions, share the video if you believe it deserves to be shared, or even consider subscribing for more builds to come your way. Until the next time, fellow modelers and friends, take care and model on. It was that Mofo Damon, signing out.